Today I'm at the Cumberland Mall in Vineland, New Jersey. This isn't a very big mall, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. Now let's see how it's holding up. The mall was built by the Rubin organization and opened its doors for the first time on October 21st, 1973. At the time, the original anchor stores were Bradley's, Pathmark, Gaudio's, and Wilmington Dry Goods, all of which are long gone. Bradley's was located to our left until that entire chain went out of business in 2001. Then it was subdivided into Marshall's, Michael's, Bed Bath & Beyond, and a few smaller stores. Marshall's is the only one that has mall access. Bed Bath & Beyond closed in 2018, and Home Goods moved into that space in 2022. Cumberland Mall initially enjoyed success because it was the only mall in the area. The next closest malls, the Shore Mall and Deptford Mall, were located 25 and 28 miles away, respectively. But the mall had begun to struggle by the 90s. There were plans to expand it by 100,000 square feet, but those plans fell through due to a lack of funding. However, the owners did renovate the mall in 1997 with new floors, a new roof, new lighting, and new trees and plants, as well as the addition of Boscov's as a new anchor. Also in the late 90s, the Home Depot and Regal Cinema were added on the out parcels of the mall. BJ's was then added as an out parcel in 2003, followed by Best Buy in 2006. In 2005, the mall was sold to Priet for $59.5 million. And although the mall had seen something of a renaissance in the late 90s and early 2000s, it did begin to struggle again under Priet's ownership. When Priet bought the mall in 2005, the occupancy rate was 98.8%. By 2021, that number had fallen to 90.8%, and I can't find a more recent figure than that, but I did go through the footage and count the number of open versus closed stores, and today the occupancy rate seems to be roughly 73%, which isn't terrible, but it's also not very good. A mall that's doing absolutely fine wouldn't have 1 in 4 stores being vacant. But one thing the mall has been able to do is keep anchor spaces occupied. The mall has lost a number of anchors over the years, but has been able to replace all of them, and currently there are no vacant anchors. As of 2020, the sales per square foot here was $389, which made it one of Priet's worst performing malls by that metric, ranking 16 out of 18. As you may know, Priet has had financial problems in recent years, and they've been shedding some of their worst performing properties. In 2022, they sold the Cumberland Mall to Cohan for $45 million, and the fact that it was sold to Cohan does make me somewhat concerned for the mall's future, because Cohan is known for buying dead malls and not really improving them, just kind of letting them deteriorate even further. If you watch my Montgomery Mall video, that was another mall that was sold to Cohan. Now, straight ahead here is where Wilmington Dry Goods was located until 1989 when it became Value City. Then Value City closed with the company in 2008, and Burlington Coat Factory moved in 2009. They closed in 2021, and although it looks vacant now, it's actually not. It's now Power Warehouse, which is a fulfillment center that handles outgoing orders for a number of businesses, including ones inside this mall. So although it's not a store, it is good to see that the space is being used for something instead of just sitting there vacant. Part of the building is also Petco. That opened sometime between 2011 and 2017, so it did coexist with the Burlington for a while. And next to the Burlington and Petco building was the Pathmark, which was here until 1994. That was never accessible from the inside of the mall. When that closed, it was subdivided into Toys R Us, which closed in 2018 with the company and is now Animal Paradise Gyms as of 2024. And then another small portion of that building was Mattress Giant, and now currently Mattress Firm. This is kind of the mall's food court, I guess. It's not really much of a food court. There are some tables and chairs in the corridor, but all of these places also do have seating inside of them. Mall food courts weren't really a thing yet back in the 70s, and this mall never got a proper food court, I guess. But there are a number of eateries throughout the mall besides these three. There's also a Chick-fil-A out in the parking lot, as well as a Red Robin and an Applebee's. So it's not like there's a shortage of places to eat around here. Now, straight back you can see Dick's. That was originally Gaudio's when the mall opened until 1977. Then it became JCPenney, which had relocated from its downtown Vineland location. JCPenney closed in 2015, and then Dick's opened in 2016. I've been seeing more and more Dick's as anchors in malls lately. Not really your traditional anchor, but it's something. Now, an interesting thing about this area is that Vineland and neighboring Millville are in what is called an urban enterprise zone, which means that while the sales tax in New Jersey is generally 6 5/8%, the sales tax here is half of that, 3.3125%. As a result, you can save a bit on major purchases by making them here. Cumberland Mall is located right off of Route 55, which is a major highway that connects the Philly area to the South Jersey shore points, particularly Wildwood and Cape May. So a lot of people pass through this area, especially in the summer, on their way down the shore. I actually know people who own a home down the shore, so they drive past this all the time, and they'll often stop and do some shopping in this area in order to save on sales tax. However, the closer you are to Philly, at that point you're better off just going to Delaware where there's no sales tax at all. This on the right used to be Friendly's. I thought I recognized the facade, and I was correct, I looked it up. And it closed in 2017. At the end of the hall here, you can see Boscov's, which, as I mentioned earlier, opened in 1997 as a new construction. It still has the classic Boscov's look, which is pretty cool. You don't see that too often anymore. Here you've got a vacancy, but it looks like Magda Couture is moving in soon. I did notice that a lot of the vacant stores had signs in the windows saying that they were available for lease, so it seems like they are at least making some effort to bring in new tenants, which is good to see. Again, I do worry about this mall's future now that it's owned by Cohan, or technically it's owned by Summit, according to the mall's website. And it was the same thing with Montgomery Mall. It was sold to Cohan, but now it's owned by Summit, so I'm pretty sure that Summit is somehow related to Cohan. And while the mall seems to be doing alright on the surface, I think there is some cause for concern here. Like I said, the occupancy rate was about 91% as recently as 2021, and as of the time I filmed this, in February of 2025, it's now about 73%, so the occupancy rate is falling kinda quickly. And with Cohan/Summit now being the owners of the mall, I don't really see that changing. The Montgomery Mall had a 73% occupancy rate when Cohan took it over in 2021, and now it's down to 43%. That's how fast these things can change, and I do fear that this mall could end up like Montgomery Mall. I hope I'm wrong, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, well that's gonna do it for this tour of the Cumberland Mall in Vineland, New Jersey. It was a short video, but it's a pretty small mall. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.